You know, there are some stories out there that are just so dark, so tangled up with power and secrets, they almost don't seem real. Well, this is one of them. It's a story that pulls you from a beautiful private island all the way to the highest levels of global power.
So let's start here. Picture this. Little St. James, a 72-acre private island in the Caribbean. I mean, on the surface, it was an absolute paradise. A luxury getaway with private docks, a movie theater, pretty much everything the world's elite could ever want.
But right under all those palm trees and perfect beaches, something was just wrong. There were all these reports of underground tunnels, really strange statues, and this bizarre temple-like building. What was actually going on there?
And that right there is the biggest question of all. How did the guy who owned this entire paradise, Jeffrey Epstein, end up dead in a super high security federal jail cell, taking all of his secrets with him? Or maybe he didn't.
To really get a handle on the man, we first have to understand the place he created. So let's dive into what's been reported about the now infamous Epstein Island. So yeah, you had the luxury resort stuff, but then there were these confirmed underground utility tunnels and all those weird statues. But the most unsettling part? The whole island was reportedly covered in CCTV cameras, watching every single corner. Now, was that really for security, like he said? Or was it for something way more sinister? Maybe something like blackmail? The island was kind of the stage for all of this, but Epstein's real power, that came from his connections. And maybe his most valuable asset, according to some people, was just a single book. Jeffrey Epstein's story is just wild. He goes from being a math teacher at a private school to this titan of Wall Street. It's almost baffling. He got in with these incredibly powerful billionaires like Leslie Wexner, the guy who owned Victoria's Secret, and he managed their money while building this huge empire for himself. The sheer scale of his network is just staggering. We're talking about his little black book, which his former butler called the Holy Grail of evidence. It had 1,571 names in it. Think about that. A who's who of the world's most powerful people, from princes to presidents. And the names you find in flight logs and contact books are just jaw-dropping. Take former President Bill Clinton. He reportedly flew on Epstein's private jet, the one they nicknamed the Lolita Express, a total of 26 times. Then there's the connection to Donald Trump. Back in the 90s, they were reportedly neighbors and ran in the same circles in Palm Beach, although sources say they had a falling out later on. For the record, Trump has always said he was never on Epstein's island.
But maybe the most damaging connection of all was the one that shook the British royal family to its very core. Prince Andrew was accused of abusing a 17-year-old girl at Epstein's direction. The fallout from that was just catastrophic. It forced him to step down from all his royal duties and pay out a multi-million-dollar settlement. So you have to be asking yourself, how did this all allegedly work? With all these powerful people involved, how did so many victims get caught in this web? Well, this is where the story takes its darkest turn. Okay, let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. She was Epstein's longtime girlfriend and alleged accomplice. In court, victims didn't just call her a partner, they called her the mastermind of the whole trafficking network. The allegations claim she would go out and recruit underage girls, often right from outside their schools, promising them money and opportunities, and then groom them for Epstein. With allegations this horrific, you'd think justice would have come down hard and fast, but the first time Epstein got caught, the system seemed to bend for him. It really makes you wonder, can justice be bought?
Back in March 2005, a victim named Courtney Wild bravely filed the very first police report. But by 2008, a secret deal was cut by the U.S. attorney at the time, Alexander Costa, a deal that gave Epstein immunity from all federal prosecution. And the result? Epstein got just 18 months in a county jail, only served 13, and he was even allowed to go to his office during the day on work release. It's unbelievable.
And this is the question that just hangs over this entire case. Was this really just some crazy lenient plea deal, a one-time sweetheart deal as Acosta later called it? Or was it a pretty clear sign that very powerful friends were protecting him from any real consequences?
For years, that deal basically buried the whole story. But you know, the truth has a way of coming out, and eventually it all led to a final, absolutely shocking climax. So in 2018, this bombshell report called Perversion of Justice comes out and exposes that secret 2008 deal to the entire world. The public outrage was massive. And on July 6, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein gets arrested again.
Only this time, everyone knew there wasn't going to be a secret deal. His powerful friends were reportedly terrified he was finally going to start naming names.
But we never got to hear that testimony. On August 10, 2019, Epstein was found dead. The official cause? Suicide. But the circumstances, they are just incredibly suspicious. The surveillance cameras outside a cell had supposedly malfunctioned. 2 prison guards fell asleep, and he had been taken off suicide watch just days before. It just doesn't add up.
Epstein was gone, but the story was so far from over. In fact, you could say the real battle for his secrets was just getting started.
Ever since he died, the courts have been slowly unsealing documents from his case, what we all now call the Epstein files. But the whole process has been really controversial, with huge legal fights over what the public gets to see and what stays hidden.
And this is really the heart of the mystery right now, what we still don't know. According to some reports, there are more than 1 million pages of court documents connected to this case that are still sealed. 1 million pages. What secrets could possibly be in there? And whose names are they protecting?
So I'll just leave you with this thought. Was Jeffrey Epstein's death the end of a horrific story of abuse? Or was it just the final, violent act of the cover-up, silencing the one man who could have exposed every single person involved? The files are still being opened, and the whole world is still waiting for answers.